سر سنگ عقابی به هوا خواست، آن در طلب تو مهپر و بال بیاراست. بر راستی بال نظر کرد و چنین گفت امروز همه روی جهان زیر پر ماست. بر بال عقاب آمد آن تیر جگردوز، عذب مرو را به سوی خاک فرو کاست. چون نیک نگاه کرد و پر خویش برو دید، گفت تازه که نالیم که از ماست که بر ماست، از ماست که بر ماست، از ماست که بر ماست.
Hello. So I would like to discuss the situation in Iran. Not sure if other people are looking at what I am. Excuse me. The fact is that we are about to start Ramadan, and it's been roughly 40 days since the massacres. Several videos I saw have come out of oh, Guy, would love for you to come on, Guy. Long time no speak. You actually know far more than. Has Ramadan started already in Iran? Let me ask. The videos that I was seeing said 29th of Bahman. So I assumed, well, it might have been a day or two ago from the funerals. So Iran is on a weird calendar. It's the not the Hijri calendar. Well, it's not the lunar Hijri calendar. It's the solar Hijri calendar. Which when was 29 Bahman? So one of the videos that I saw was from the 29th of Bahman, which corresponds on February 20th this year. No, it was the 17th. Yeah, so the video is a few days old. Ramadan started February 18th. Yeah, so Wednesday in Iran. Anyway, so yeah, so Ramadan apparently already started. It started between Wednesday. Guy, one of my favorites, redcoats. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Sorry, I should have turned the other one off before I was listening to you as you went. Deep feedback.
So how are things in the King's
This side of the pond?
Yeah.
They're okay. We're a mess. I think we're less a mess than sometimes I see your side of the pond. But I think of Canada.
The world's in upheaval. You may have noticed.
Yeah, all I once held dear, as the song says, it's all gone. It is interesting that you've got that Ramadan started a day early. They kicked off. So it's interesting because I was talking to my colleague at work. Who's a lovely lady and very devout, and we were talking about 25 years ago. They did the same thing where they suddenly said Ramadan started, and it was like a day early. But of course, we were in Uzbekistan, so we were like 2 hours before Saudi. And her family were in Pakistan, and it was like no one was expecting Ramadan to start that day. Everyone was just carrying on their normal lives, expecting it to start the next day.
Right.
And they went, but you started Ramadan on us. How can you do that? That's a
it's based on the visual sighting of the moon. So
in Saudi Arabia. So that means that half the world is at risk.
I mean, we could get into calendars, and also I do want to ask you how you feel about you're part of the Reform Party, right?
No?
I'm
the opposite side. I'm the Liberal Democrats. We're the ones who wanted to stay in Europe.
Oh, okay. Because apparently a third party is rising in
it's
Great
called
Britain.
Not Refresh, Reform. Renew? No, it's not called Renew. It's not big enough yet for it to impinge upon my brain.
Okay, I thought it was Reform.
It exists.
Yeah, and I don't know. I just realized that Labour and the Conservative Restore apparently.
Restore. That sounds reasonable.
Okay. Yeah. So apparently there's a viable third party rising in Great Britain, which is no, you don't think so?
Farage is incredibly clever. Farage is an evil genius. The whole Brexit thing is 3 people. 4 people maybe, one of which is Farage, who kept the whole Save the Pound was the big thing.
Right.
So my parents-in-law had a little Save the Pound sticker on their door from the 1970s when it was at risk, apparently. Then he kept that going through a whole... So that was called UKIP, that party. Then it's negotiated its way through various things into being what is now Reform. But essentially he's used the same technique the whole way through.
Right.
You've then got Father Rees-Mogg and Jacob Rees-Mogg. Father Rees-Mogg was editor of the Times in the 1970s and was totally opposed to us joining the EU.
Yeah.
At the time, and his son followed on, and he set up what they called the European Research Group in Parliament, that basically was Reform or UKIP within the Conservative Party.
Tory, though, wasn't Jacob Rees-Mogg a Tory?
Yeah, but you see, what he did was he was effectively Reform, but stayed inside the Tory Party and continuously, was poisoning the Tory Party in an anti-European way. Margaret Thatcher was totally in support of the EU when she started. So it's really interesting how that happened. But then especially behind Farage was Aaron Banks, who's a multimillionaire who just basically bankrolled the whole thing for a long, long period when it was in the wilderness.
That's the one name I've never heard before, Aaron Banks.
There you go.
Okay. So, do you think there's a possibility that,
This is about Iran, by the way. Don't forget, this is about Iran.
it is. So you know that the people in Iran are, well, not everyone. My little joke is the British are the Jews of Iran, because in Iran, basically all the conspiracy theories center around how the British control everything.
We do, obviously. Sorry, I can't say that, can I? That would be ruining the conspiracy. No, of course we don't. There's nothing to do with us at all.
I mean, apparently King Charles is constantly day to day choosing who gets to pave which streets in Iran. Yeah.
Really? Does he write these things out in Farsi, or in are they translated for him nicely?
It's so.
I mean, he has to be doing something with his life. It isn't running the UK, is it? Because we've got a parliamentary democracy.
So there's a famous satirical book in Iran, and in the satirical book, the patriarch, who represents basically old Iranian ways.
Right.
He
or somebody, yes.
He constantly blames the British for everything, including the fact his garden isn't going so well.
Hey, we were there in the 1950s and 40s, so we obviously poisoned the soil and he's never able to recover.
You guys were there more than just the 50s and 40s. You guys were also, I mean, yes. Yeah, it is 100% Bitul Torah. I saw that as a 3-hour interview, and both of them are people I don't want to listen to about anything, including their theology of Israel. Hey, Kirk.
Hi, Kirk.
Yeah. Our ambassador to the American ambassador to Israel, Mike Huckabee, is who he's.
Mike Huckabee is now ambassador to Israel. Really?
Yes. He has been since the Trump administration came on. Yes.
That hadn't come to my notice. Oh joy! I used to like him. I think he was actually. He's governor of somewhere, wasn't he?
He was governor of Arkansas. Now his daughter is governor of Arkansas. I think Arkansas. Maybe I have the wrong state.
I know that the Economist spoke very highly of him as a governor. I know that, which is interesting.
Yeah, governor of Arkansas. His daughter, who was Donald Trump's press secretary, is now the governor of Arkansas.
Okay, and she has a degree in journalism, presumably, not law.
I don't know if she has a degree
in public administration. Obviously, why would you do
that? Why anybody would get a degree, like a bachelor's degree? Does anybody care? She went to Ouachita Baptist University. Does it say what she studied? I don't see what she studied at Ouachita.
Hello, Zach, by the way.
Baptist University.
Well.
Yeah, it doesn't say what she studied, but my guess is whatever it wasn't an incredibly difficult course.
It's a history of art.
History of art is actually kind of difficult.
Well, we used to laugh at them at my university because we were on a 25 to 30 hour lecture pattern, being engineers, and they were on 2 hours a week, one of which was optional.
We make fun of communications majors.
We didn't have those in my day. They just didn't exist. I'm too old and crabby for that.
The British have invaded my stream.
We do that. We invade when you're not looking.
Are you Gloucestershire?
Me?
Yes.
You're kind of close.
There were 3 Coxes in my class at school.
Okay. I'm from Devon.
Oh, there you go. We can talk.
I live in Dundee, so I'm quite far from home.
So you two are 2 of my favorite Britishers, along with Andre and Tayo, of course. But
we miss Tayo.
I see him all around every once in a while. He hasn't been jumping on streams though. Yeah. He commented on my stream on Wednesday.
Yeah, he commented on his internal WhatsApp group in the UK on Wednesday too. So it must be suddenly arrived.
Oh, so you guys have a WhatsApp group? Zach, you got to jump on.
I'm not in the WhatsApp group. Am I not cool enough to be in the British WhatsApp group? Wow.
If you want, it's the London Estuary group. So there we go. If you want to come to a London Estuary, please do.
Yeah, it's quite a long train journey.
Yeah, that's a long haul. Can I ask about Jacob? So Iran essentially has almost gone out of the news on the internal dissent element in the UK.
Mm-hmm.
We are seeing little bits and scraps about the Franklin D. Roosevelt. Is it Franklin D. Roosevelt, the big aircraft carrier?
No, the Lincoln is. I believe it's the Lincoln. Yes,
it's the Lincoln. Apologies, wrong president. But it's the biggie, isn't it? There's big carriers and there's the really big ones.
Apparently, we're moving a second carrier strike group into the area.
Ooh.
Yeah,
there's not a lot of space there. There's not a lot of space around that Strait of Hormuz.
Well,
if you put the two carriers together like that, you could probably walk across.
That's part of the problem with the Strait of Hormuz. Is it is very, very thin, and yeah, Iran has been threatening to close it forever as retaliation. But I don't think they. I mean, look, when you're dealing with a religious apocalyptic cult, I certainly hope that whoever's in the White House, the National Security Advisor, has been properly informed. And frankly, I have to say, I am very impressed with how Trump has not attacked. I thought he would have attacked by now. And I think keeping the pressure up the way it is right now. So what I was talking about, so the 40th anniversary, 40-day anniversary of a death is a big thing among Shia Muslims.
Mm-hmm. And in Uzbekistan.
Yeah, so I've been seeing a lot of videos of the funerals, and people are dancing at the funerals. Yeah, which is a mark of war and defiance.
Are they martyrs? Are they considered that they're dead martyrs in that sense?
Yes. So,
wow.
So Iran officially named over 2,000 of the people who were massacred as martyrs, and gave money to the families for them being martyred. But the claim was that these people were killed by the protesters, right? Yes. So the official government numbers are that a little over 3,000 people have died in over those 2 days, and that over 2,000 of the people who died were on the government side.
Right.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Which university are you in again?
and the hope was that at least, you know, that the families would be like, okay, fine. But apparently, I mean, now people are I can show some of the videos that I saw on YouTube. Here, let's pull them up. Which I you know, these videos, they appear to be real videos. Obviously, I can't verify them myself, but so here's one of them. So this is from so the first part is from a somebody who had been who had received the death penalty, and in his final testament, he had said that he doesn't want people to cry. He wants people to celebrate his life at his funeral. And on television, they were trying to humiliate him with that. So this is from 3 years ago.
دوست نداری برات نماز بخونن دیگه
نماز نخونن شادی کنن آهنگ شاد پخش.
So this video is claiming to be from the last few days, and the man who comes into the video, my guess is he must have been the father of one of the people who died, because he towards the end he breaks down crying.
And the green martyr's scarf.
What?
The green scarf. He's flagging the green scarf.
Well, I mean, I'm not sure the color is significant, but although he may actually be a descendant of the prophet, only they are supposed to wear green like that, but I'm not sure. So that's one of the videos. This is another video. So they're setting off fireworks there, and there was another video here.
So is the celebration at the funerals something that's likely to spark? Is that something that would make the regime annoyed?
Oh yes, these are women and men dancing together. Many of the women are not. Yeah, this is completely forbidden. This one. So you hear the horn? That is a Zoroastrian. This song is very Zoroastrian in its tone. Yeah, so I mean, these are very different. Whatchamacallit? These are very different videos. So I mean, if at least one of them is real, the regime's not going to survive this.
But at least two of them were in very rural areas as well, where you'd expect them to be much more conservative.
Oh, they are. But this is the thing: the massacres were all over the country. The massacres. It's not like this was protests just in Tehran. It's not like This is. I don't see how the Islamic Republic survives this at all.
Yeah. Well, so what I was actually going to ask was if you think that the Trump administration's plans about attacking Iran are serious, because my position is perhaps Trump might think that because of this kind of internal contradictions in Iranian culture, that he might as well leave them alone. But I'm curious if you think he's being serious.
Oh, I think he's serious. I think Trump is going to do something. I don't think he can politically not do anything. My guess, I earlier guessed, and I was going to check if this is true. So, still true. Trump appointed as the head of Voice of America Persian a very strong Kurdish nationalist.
So this is what I was going to ask you about, because I've heard you pushing before the idea that he was potentially the person he's put in charge of this is.
The guy has gotten into very, very public spats over the past 10 years with Reza Pahlavi, the crown prince, and his wife, and very publicly called them and their followers all kinds of names, including.
So you think Trump is still on this Kurdistani track and not on Pahlavi?
I don't know.
Right.
So this guy was appointed before, right around when the protests started. I think maybe even a little before the protests started, but certainly right around when the protests started. And before the protests, so I've said this before, Karim Sajidpour, who is an analyst I highly recommend. He really knows his stuff. He writes for The Atlantic. God have mercy on his soul. He mentioned that last year he wrote an article about how the regime appears to be a zombie regime. It's dead on its feet. The only question is how long it's going to last before it falls and what's going to come after it. And he wrote 7 different scenarios which he thought could possibly take place. Well, his editors made him cut it down to 5. And one of the scenarios was the crown prince was going to come back, which he cut that out of the article. Because
Sorry, we have a phrase in English about King Arthur saying the once and future king.
The once and well, he was the crown prince was never king, but yes. So the and frankly, before the protests started coalescing around the name Pahlavi and the chant Javid Shah, which is long live the king, I didn't think a return of Pahlavi was a real possibility, and Karim Sajidpour didn't think it was a real possibility, and so he cut it out of his article. Right, he eliminated it as one of the possibilities. It appears to be the it appears to be the most likely of the various scenarios. It's hard to tell the future. And I don't know how much Trump and our security establishment are still on this Kurdish thing with the guy from Voice of America. I wanted to check if he's still the head of Voice of America Persian.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely support in an ideal society a free Kurdistan. I do think that would resolve some of the internal contradictions in Iranian culture.
I mean,
Interesting.
yeah. Apparently, Javan Mardi is still the head. He he was appointed in January. And so I think if the United States wanted to hurt the regime, allowing for an independent Kurdistan would, it would have more impact on Iraq and Syria and Turkey than it would on Iran. But basically, Israel and the United States would kind of prefer it. I think Saudi Arabia doesn't like that idea, despite the fact it would be one more Sunni state. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not a big fan of our relationship with Saudi Arabia in general, but I don't know much about it, so I'll have the intellectual humility to defer to you on this one.
So Pahlavi very much wants to keep Iran's borders the same as it is, and that's been one of his requirements. Is okay. We have to have separation of church and state. We have to have broad-based elections. We have to have territorial integrity, and I forget what his fourth thing was, but something along the same lines.
Beer is sold on every street corner.
What on every street corner?
Beer.
Oh, beer.
Something idealistic like that.
Are the Iranians big beer drinkers, or because it's a kind of prohibition state, are they more in the spirits?
I think it's the prohibition.
They're more into spirits and somewhat wine, because you can make wine at home. Yeah, and people do make wine at home.
And traditionally, did. I mean, the rabbit to the Omer Khayyam
Well,
has that moment.
Yes and no. So the funny thing is, a lot of Persian poetry is about getting drunk and drinking wine. But in Iran, like, that's always considered figurative.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Of course
There was a tendency among Western scholars of Iranian poetry to imagine that Persians drink a lot, and they really don't.
No, okay. I can understand that. No, that's realistic. I mean, we have difficulties in the Christian fold with the first miracle of Jesus.
Yes, the Baptists.
Struggles. Yes,
the Baptists insist it was grape juice.
Absolutely, it must have been.
Oh, don't worry. The Catholics and Orthodox have no problem with that. I remember when I was an Anglican, my priest had said something that I went, Father, that's you're gossiping, and he said, well, okay, look, we have two hobbies as Anglicans. You can't take them away from us: gossiping and heavy drinking.
Oh, I love that.
Very accurate.
Yes. So, going back, sorry, Jacob, I'm going to try and keep you on track.
Yeah.
To the news. So, we now have 40 days. We've seen funerals of 2,000 to 3,000 people. That means that 2,000 to 3,000 villages or mahalla are seeing.
So hold on. The actual numbers of dead are quite likely way over 6,000.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
Sorry, I was being conservative.
Yeah, officially, and I would say those are conservative numbers of 6,000. The Reza Pahlavi claims over 35,000 people have died. The official numbers are 3,117, I think it was, dead, of which over 2,000 supposedly were on the regime side.
There was innocent people that these nasty possessors who were inspired by American payouts of money to them went out and killed, obviously.
It was God, it was America, it was the English. Yeah.
I've forgotten, yes, of course, the king, yes, because yes, he in Windsor was yeah.
The British are very, very active in the Persian imagination.
Yeah.
I don't know if you listened to the Rest is History podcasts on Iran.
They were really good.
They were good. I was impressed that they were aware of how large the British loom in Persian culture. Yes.
I like
You
how
wrote Persian
pleased
Fire.
Dominic Sandbrook is with the idea that they're just constantly thinking we're behind everything. It's, of course, we have the power to do anything. Yeah.
We just
For
don't believe
hundreds
it.
of years, you did. That's the thing. You have to understand. For hundreds of years, the British, like, very much so, Iranians think of Israel as a British colony, as a British puppet state.
It's about the declaration. We started it.
And very many of them think of the United States as kind of the United States as a kind of like puppet state of the British. Really, they really do.
If you want,
I mean, obviously, they're just a colony with a bit of trouble keeping.
Yeah. I mean, it's a colony that became independent, but the culture is the same. So basically, as far as a lot of them are, I mean, Americans speak English. What else do you need to know?
Absolutely. So going back to these multiple funerals between what 3,117 and 35,000.
Yeah.
Somewhere.
Yeah.
All of them having their 40-day. All of them presumably in different mahallas. Some mahallas will have 2 or 3 maybe, but there's a lot of people across the country who's lost somebody who is, if not second cousin, third cousin.
Oh yeah. That's the thing. I think pretty much a majority of Persians, if they don't know somebody who died in the massacres, they know a family who has lost somebody in the massacres.
And we are now on the 20th of February in our calendar.
Yes.
I noticed the 19th or something in that in the last video.
It was the 29th.
29th. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Yes. My Arabic is very poor. We're only 30 days away now from Nowruz.
Yes.
Which brings all sorts of people together into all sorts of places.
Well, and Ramadan. I mean,
Ramadan's kicked off, so we're all hungry and grumpy.
Yes, hungry, grumpy, and we are moving into the dry season with the drought, and
perfectly exacerbated by building dams in the wrong places.
Oh, it's way beyond building dams in the wrong places. But yes, it is completely man-made. And the economy has been absolutely crippled by taking down the internet. And the internet has been down for like a month now. And they don't seem to be able to they don't seem to be able to figure out a way of letting people back onto the internet. I really do not see how the regime is going to go back to business as usual. Unlike the Mahsa Amini protests a couple of years ago, which I mean, I was pessimistic enough to say I didn't think they had any legs, right? With those protests, what was possible to do was simply stop enforcing the hijab laws, be a little bit less interventionist in people's lives, etc. I don't see how the government is going to get out of the fact that the rial is worth almost nothing, that they have been absolutely humiliated during the 12-day wars, and frankly, the current humiliation is also bad.
How long does it have to last before it becomes untenable, though? That's the thing. Because I was kind of expecting things to have gone faster, I suppose, and it's still just rumbling on at the same pace. Like
Civil wars don't go very fast. That's the thing with civil wars. I mean, have you?
But you say civil war, but is there like actually? Has there been large numbers of trained fighting men actually defecting to the rebel side yet?
No.
Because
so still in the level of protests.
The Revolutionary Guards actually control so much money. There's so much pension and such a close brotherhood, and they're never allowed to actually interact with normal people.
So the IRGC is very faithful. The Basijis, and look, Iran has, in addition to, so Iran has its military. Then it has the IRGC, which is a dedicated revolutionary army, right? Which is meant to prevent the military from getting out of hand, right? And in addition to the IRGC and the military, Iran has militia, right? Which are just young men who believe in the revolution, believe in, and as militia, they go out there and they crack heads of people they believe are anti-revolutionaries. Okay? Now, the number of Basijis might be in the millions. But how many people can you kill? They've already killed 3,000 people in 2 days, at least. I mean, I should probably just say 6,000 because that is the bare minimum. And you have to remember that hundreds of thousands of people were injured. Right? And we're not talking simple injuries. Apparently, over 50,000 people have lost eyes because they were using pellet guns and shotguns on the protesters. So people have been disfigured. Hundreds of thousands of people have wounds. And people were not going to the hospital because even if it wasn't true and it was just rumors, I suspect that it was true. They were going to the hospitals and executing people. So people were not going to the hospitals.
Even if you went to the hospital and they weren't executing people, all that's going to happen is in 3 months' time, the hospital is going to give its records over to the government and say, yes, of course, here's all our records. Because the owner of the hospital and the chief person there is a government agent. He's a member of the government in some way or other. And he's going to say, yeah, here's all the records, and this is the names and addresses of everybody who came to my hospital on those 3 days, and these are the injuries they had, and yes, you can tell, therefore, they were protesters. Why don't you go round and knock on their door for them?
And they've already arrested over 20,000 people. So one of the things the United States could do is actually attack Evin prison, liquidate all the guards, and I do mean liquidate the guards. They have to liquidate the guards, and let all the prisoners out, and there's a reason they have to liquidate the guards, because that makes it very, very difficult for the regime to restaff Evin prison and just go and arrest everyone again.
Because there is only one really big prison.
Yeah. And,
it's difficult. Yes.
So is the only way for this to actually topple the regime for so many people to be killed that the country can't function anymore? I mean, is that the end goal? Because that's horrifying.
That's already what's happened.
Hello.
Hello,
Yoav. Some comments and questions. Start from the last. How do you take control of prison in the middle of another country? I'm following the Ukraine war, and I keep seeing that prisons are always turned into fortresses. You always have a strong resistance at the point when you approach a prison. It's fortified. It's the most difficult place to take in the neighborhood. Do you have an idea how you do it?
I'm no military expert. My thinking is that the United States is probably more than capable of invading a compound like that, but mass executions in Evin prison are not new, and it's not just a matter of how do we do it. You would have to assault it with ground troops, etc. You would have to assault it, especially Evin prison is in Tehran, right? But you also have to assault it quickly enough that they don't get a chance to just murder all the prisoners, which they might.
Okay, I'll go on from that. I was trying to war game the situation to see what can the Americans do. Apparently, there is no bank of targets to bomb. There is nothing you can bomb to achieve any benefit.
Israel did bomb Evin prison, actually. But
you can bomb the prison as a preparation for an assault. As you said, you need to kill all the guards, and you have to make sure all the prisoners are free. That just bombing the prison is more of a preparatory step. I was thinking, you need troops on the ground. And of course, you don't need to take the whole country. It's a big country. You probably want at some point to have the new king on grounds when it is safe enough. So I was thinking you need to find a region, because it is divided to regions separated by deserts. You have to find a region and start from there. A region that it will be loyal enough that they can parachute a small amount of troops, secure the region, and work from that region outwards until such a point when you feel confident enough to land a new king there. So I was thinking maybe the initial thought was that the Kurdish region would be the safest bet to start from. But maybe on the second thought, if your goal is to establish the new king, then the Kurdish region is the last place you want to start with. So my question for you would have been, what region would you recommend to start from? And I now want to join it with a previous issue. Maybe one consideration will be it has to be a region with at least one significant prison that you want to free first.
I think the only possible place for anything. First of all, I'm not sure it's a good idea what you're proposing at all. But if you are thinking along those lines, the only place it makes sense at all is Tehran, because Iran is not a unified country. It's a confederation. And the various regions, Shahristans in Iran, are to some extent autonomous, except they have no capacity or desire to perform the functions of a central government, which means conducting international relations, printing money, that type of stuff, right? And all of that stuff is done. So let's talk about the Kurdish region. Over the past 200 years, the Kurdish region has been ruled by variously from the Ottoman Empire in Istanbul, from London, from Tehran, from Moscow. And so the Kurdish region, right, taking it over is kind of like not, it doesn't even matter. It very much really does not matter. What matters is who controls Tehran. And I mean, the only other strategic thing might be Bandar Abbas, which is along the coast. The Bandar Abbas is the largest. Bandar means port in Farsi. So Bandar Abbas is the largest port. And unfortunately for the regime, that area is tends to have a lot of Arabs, and so they don't necessarily consider themselves Persian. The only places that I would say generally matter are either Bandar Abbas and that area, or Tehran. The rest of the country, there's no point in taking over it in terms of international relations, in terms of, these are autonomous areas that are used to having to deal with and paying taxes to various capitals for protection. Yeah, basically. Yeah.
It's a mafia.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I was just So I focused away for a second because I thought the Glorious Revolution in 1688 in England was one of those wonderful moments when the British had continuity of the revolution at the same time. And basically, James became unpopular very quickly, and William and Mary were asked to come along and take over, basically, in the most subtle way. And they landed in Torbay. And if you know anything about Torbay, it's not the biggest or most massive place. And it wasn't even a seaside resort at the time because no one did seaside resorts. But they then wandered up, and literally it was almost a wander up to, and Napoleon did the same thing. He landed in Marseille and wandered up to Paris. And I think Bandar Abbas would be a great place to start. A wander because it's up the main road anyway. There is only one major road going north south, isn't there? In that sense, so you might as well jump on that highway and just
from Bandar Abbas to Tehran.
Yeah.
Have you ever met any of the Scottish nationalists who will still toast the prince over the waters?
Yes. Yes.
Who's the prince over the waters?
James, who was kicked out by. And he's the son of James, who was kicked out by the Glorious Revolution.
Okay.
So it's a kind of common thing of he threw his lot in with the Scots to try and retake the throne and failed. So.
Okay. So where is this pretender living these days?
Oh, he died in 1745.
Oh, okay.
He's still out there somewhere.
I think there must be a pretender out there somewhere. I know there's a dolphin of there are several dolphin of France.
So the best one we've got, which is my favorite, is that the Plantagenets, Richard the Lionheart, the Crusader King, his direct descendants are still alive. The Plantagenets actually have a line, and he's now farming in Australia.
Okay.
Yeah, they went and found him. And his daughters didn't even know that he was a duke still, or whatever it is, earl or whatever.
I was looking up the previous. So the Pahlavis are upstarts. So
1850s, 1870s,
1900s,
1900s, even more recent.
Yes, very recent. The British placed Reza Shah on the throne and then decided to exile him during World War II and put his son in his place. But
you have to know who you can trust.
You can't trust. You can't. Once you put a crown on someone's head, you can no longer trust that person. That's the problem with putting crowns on people's heads. But the previous dynasty, the Qajars, their heir is apparently a professor of engineering or mathematics or something in Texas.
Not at Texas A&M, please. Not at Texas A&M.
I don't think so. No, he teaches at a community college in Texas.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
So, how do you take Tehran?
Honestly,
you wander up from Bandar Abbas. You basically get on a big car and start waving out the roof. If enough people follow you, you'll be all right.
You would need what Guy is suggesting would require having serious troops. Troops that I don't think. First of all, Israel. If Israel tried to provide them, the troops would be massacred. The United States.
You can't touch Israel. You mustn't touch Israel.
And the United States similarly. The thing is, Israel has enough Persians. There are enough Persians who have done military service that it's almost a viable option, but not really. With the United States, I mean, it also, so unless, I mean, what the Crown Prince did was he set up a website, and Iran International is constantly putting up a QR code where people inside Iran supposedly can securely log on to this website and get into communications about how they are willing to turn their codes, etc. He claims, I think something like 50,000 people have contacted him. That's not a very large number.
How many people currently in Iran? 60 to 80 million?
90 million.
90.
Yeah. And like I said, just the Basijis probably number in the millions.
It's actually, what's interesting is that what happened with the Glorious Revolution was everyone liked James to begin with. He turned it, they got fed up with him. When William and Mary arrive, everyone begins to flip. And it's those Basijis that you need to flip. You need to talk to the Basiji guy in Bandar Abbas. You need to give him enough cash to you know, give everyone some goat one evening and say, look, folks, the regime's dying. If we could either be on the right side or the wrong side of this, let's be on the right side. The king's coming.
Guy, how effective do you think it would be if I went up to some soccer hooligans and offered them money to switch sides?
I'm not. You're not offering the hooligan. You're offering the hooligan's boss. You've got to hit the right level, and maybe it isn't money. Maybe it's just we've got family. You've got family in America. You've got family in the UAE. You've got, you know, we know where they all are. We know who you are. You do know the regime's failing, don't you?
Well, I mean, yeah, but
not that I'm talking about this.
I want people to recognize that the Basijis are basically soccer hooligans
and Spartans at the same time. They all eat at the same table.
So these are the numbers from Grok. While Iranian officially, the government of Iran claims 12 to 25 million members of the Basijis, the more realistic number is 450,000. The Artesh, which is the actual military, is 350,000. That includes people who've been conscripted. And Sepah is 125,000 to 190,000. I think infiltrating Sepah Pastaran is probably impossible. Getting the Artesh to flip is also similarly almost impossible. And the Basijis, like I said, think of them as soccer hooligans, and their team is Ayatollah Khamenei. Honestly, it's not clear to me how we get out of this mess in any manner.
If you can't flip the Basiji or one of those early on, you're never going to work. It's never. You're always going to go back to where we are today, which is uprising, hard clamp down, followed up by a soft clamp down. And by soft, I mean these are the hospital records. We're going to go and knock on people's doors.
Yes, it is. It would be like trying to convince an Arsenal ultra to support Tottenham, I guess. Yeah. Not very likely. These are young men who are basically thugs. The Basijis are basically thugs.
So, if you go to that prison and you freed everybody in it and you killed all the guards, does it change the situation?
In terms of counting coup, definitely. And that's part of changing the so counting coup might be an Americanism. Supposedly the American Indians, and it's not clear whether this was actually done, would have ceremonial victories and wars against each other, and they would count coup, meaning they would count something flashy that showed you that basically humiliated the other side. The 12-day war humiliated the regime, and I think that is one of the reasons we are in the situation we are right now. Without the 12-day war being as humiliating as it was, I don't think we would be where we are now.
I want to comment that this is a badge of honor to the Persian people, because we have humiliated several Arab governments several times, and it changed nothing. I think the Persians have some relationship to truth that you don't find in other nations.
Yes. The Persian society is far less tribal, far more practical, civic-minded, and civilized than certainly Libya, right? I would say even more so than Saudi Arabia. Iran considers itself on par and a colleague of Turkey. And so the possibility of Iran turning, like it did in 1979, from being led by the Shah and being friends with the United States and Israel to being very opposed and thinking of itself as independent again, that's real. And so, yes, taking over Evin prison, killing all the guards, and letting all the prisoners go free, it would definitely be, I believe, I don't know if it's practical at all. And frankly, if all that happens is that all of the people in Evin are killed because they may just decide to liquidate the prisoners on their way out, that might be a disaster. It might also not be a disaster. It might be people will blame the regime for it. But it's certainly incredibly risky. And let's say that America sends a Delta Strike group or some SEALs, right? Some elite forces, and they fail.
Jimmy Carter strikes again.
It would be Bay of Pigs. It would be Bay of Pigs all over again, right? It would humiliate the United States. So certainly, if they're going to do it, they better not do it. They better not fail. But in terms of kinetic, actual, what can they do to change the situation on the ground? I think if there was a way of taking over the internet infrastructure, that would definitely make a serious situation. Destroying Sedao Sima which is the official television station. I mean, that's definitely worth just attacking their studios and their transponders and stuff. Other than that,
there's no military way you're going to take it, unless you've got a popular uprising.
Well, I mean, that's what you're kind of seeing with those videos.
But it's gone. It's already gone.
I don't think so. This is how the Shah fell in 1979. Was series of funerals, 40 days, funerals, 40 days, funerals, 40 days. If the regime doesn't respond to these videos, to the people in these videos, to the humiliation and the defiance in them, they are going to lose all legitimacy.
And they have their faces now, because they were in a video.
And the only response they have is to kill people, which just makes for more funerals.
The secret is to beat someone with a shoe. And nothing else, just a shoe.
Humiliate them. Yeah.
You mustn't kill them. That creates martyrs. You must just beat them with a shoe.
But the thing is, I don't think the regime has the number.
There aren't enough shoes.
There aren't enough people to wield the shoes. That's why they ended up using deadly force.
Because the Basijis actually don't know how to wield shoes. They can only kill.
Well, and they are not used to being outnumbered.
Mm-hmm.
They are not used to being actually threatened. They're not well-trained people. And so they had to respond with deadly force, which did disperse the protests. But this is a vicious cycle. The Shah saw what the cycle was, and he said, I'm not just going to murder lots of people. He saw where it was going, and he left the country. But that's the difference between the Shah and Khamenei. Khamenei
doesn't have a place to go.
Not only doesn't have a place to go, he believes he's an apocalyptic,
I am the Messiah, effectively, if not in those terms, in those words, but yes.
And so that this regime, I don't see them resigning. And I hate to say it. I think by the time this is over, the death toll is going to be way larger than Gaza.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because because obviously you've got the legend of the hidden imam.
Yeah,
it's tucked away in the back of everyone's mind, and I wonder if Khomeini and the cadre around him almost have a martyr complex, in the sense that it doesn't really matter. I'm really, really old. I'm going to die soon anyway. If I die a martyr, I might become another hidden imam, effectively, within the Shia firmament.
So James Tabor, you guys may be familiar with him because of his archaeological work on the life of Jesus.
And his interview with Sam.
And his interviews with Sam. he did a lot of work on Waco and the government showdown with Waco, and he is well studied on Jonestown. That is the type of situation we're looking at. And I have to say, I did not think Donald Trump would have the patience that he has had to put as much, just letting things simmer. Because if the United States were to attack, it might be a shuffle of the situation enough for the regime to try something, but without an external attacker. Right now, they have no way of getting off the ledge that they've driven themselves onto.
Yeah, you need. I mean, that's why Ukraine is so important to Putin, because once Ukraine disappears as a problem, then he's got nothing to hang his hat on, so to speak. And the same is true, presumably, for the regime is struggling that they can no longer utilize any of the levers of external annoyance that they had in Lebanon, in Gaza, in any of these places, because all those people have gone. They're just no longer valid. And all they can do is, all the people inside Iran can see is now the real sinking like a stone, the shops being empty, and a dying zombie regime.
The 12-day war very much showed that Iran was alone.
Where were friends that day? Yeah.
There were zero friends. Iran had zero friends. That's why they attacked the base in Qatar, right? Qatar is one of the closer friends of theirs. Pakistan said nothing. Afghanistan said nothing. Nobody said anything. It showed that Iran had zero friends against Israel.
Which isn't the most popular country in the world.
Certainly not the most popular country in the Middle East.
Yeah. It is amazing, isn't it? That you look like the nature of the paper tiger.
Yeah. No, the humiliation was real. The humiliation at the 12-day war was real.
So they are humiliated. The real is sinking. The internet's cut off because it's obvious that the only reason the internet's cut off is because the news outside is so bad nobody wants to hear it.
The news inside is so bad nobody these videos that I was showing, if these videos were being seen in Iran, and I don't know how much they've been dispersed in Iran, but if a majority of Iranians were able to see these videos, one of the biggest things that happened was the regime tried to turn the internet back on, and Anonymous claimed responsibility for it. Who actually did it is anybody's guess. But when they did that, all of the television stations in Iran got hacked, and for a space of 2 hours were showing Reza Pahlavi for the first time in his life since 1979 on Persian television, on every channel. That was a humiliating.
Let's not make that a mistake again. Let's not make that mistake again.
Well,
It's interesting. I've just been doing. I work for a company. We do resilience testing, and one of the things that you resilience test is all the payment devices in the company. So what happens is that the internet goes down for some reason. You don't stop trading. You actually keep trading on the devices on trust. That when people put their card on the device, it takes the money and then it stores it, but it's not really taking the money because it hasn't actually talked to base yet. But the moment the internet comes back on, all those transactions flood up,
right,
and you get this sudden spike of interest as all that happens, and suddenly the accountants can suddenly log on to their consoles and look at all the money coming back, and they all feel happy again. And of course, the opposite is going to happen when Iran turns the internet back on. All the badness is going to come in, and all the bosses are going to look at that and go, why do we turn this back on again? And they know that's going to happen, so why would they even turn it on again ever until they're forced to? Because you bottom dollar that Khamenei and all his beloved friends have got a Starlink.
So they
or it's its Chinese equivalent.
They have whitelisted the people that they trust onto the internet. It's the general population in Iran which is not being allowed to use the internet. And I'm sorry, you cannot run a country without internet these days.
It's an interesting concept.
I don't think there is a Chinese equivalent of Starlink. Otherwise, the Russians would have used it in Ukraine, and they don't. Of course,
it's slowly happening.
Sorry?
It's slowly happening.
Oh, yeah, there will be. And of course, the very top of the regime in Tehran, they do have communications, no doubt. But not an equivalent of Starlink, not as yet. As to Iran not having friends against Israel, they used to have a well-armed and well-fortified Gaza Strip just in Israel, and that has been eliminated. They used to have a very well-fortified and very well-armed Hezbollah in Lebanon, and that has been eliminated. Also have been dealt with their forces in Iraq, and after a long exchange of blows, their allies in Yemen. And then came the 12-day war, and at that point, they had no longer friends in the Middle East.
Yeah, I mean, Hashd al-Shaabi, which I only found out about recently. So Ayatollah Sistani in Iraq encouraged the Shia population to create defensive militias underneath. Wow, that's an idea I just had. But Hashd al-Shaabi, it was a militia created by Ayatollah Sistani, who is an old school Shia Ayatollah. He has been offered to rule in Iraq, and he's refused it. But because of ISIS killing Shia Muslims, they started this militia, Hashd al-Shaabi, and which apparently translates, it's Arabic, to the People's Army. And that group, which, Shia Muslims, there was some people claiming that it was that group which came into Iran to support the regime and to who did at least some of the murdering of the what you call it, of the protesters. I personally have not seen any evidence that actual Hashd al-Shaabi had gone into Iran to support the regime. I would have, if I were Iran, I would have expected Hashd al-Shaabi to have at least declared its allegiance with Iran over Israel in the 12-day war. Nothing like that happened. And honestly, I mean, I think the United States, I've thought for many years that the United States should be trying to curry favor with Ayatollah Sistani. I doubt very much they have been. But if there's one person who could peacefully change the situation in Iran, it would be Ayatollah Sistani.
Is he too Arab?
Well, actually, he's Persian. but
you know that the whole Shia thing in Iraq is a it's not quite a different kettle of fish, but it's
yes.
You know,
and frankly, he seriously believes that it is not his place to get involved in politics. And to at least some degree, he has been staying out of politics. If he were to decide that the situation in Iran has gotten to being no longer political, right? That now it's somebody who is if he were to decide such a thing, which I don't know if there's even a possibility, and Ayatollah Sistani is very old, but large number. What?
So is Khamenei.
Khamenei is 84 years old, I believe, right now. Here, let's ask Grok. What percentage of Iranians send their khums to Ayatollah Sistani? So, khums is basically like tithe, but it's actually 20%. It is stated that nearly 80% of Shia worshippers globally follow Sistani as their marja, as their leader.
Wow. Who's his successor? Who's he put his hand on? Who's carrying his coat?
He doesn't get to choose that. I don't know who the members of the Hausa currently are, but they're all in their 80s.
Yeah.
But
you wouldn't expect a lot of 20-year-olds there, mind you. I'm gonna ease out of this, I'm afraid, Jacob. It's been really good talking to you, and I really appreciate the fact that your background is what it is, that you've got all the languages and everything else. I so envy you being able to just understand all the other things that are going on because you understand the language.
A little bit. I mean, my Farsi isn't as strong as I would like it to be, but yes, yeah. It's put me in a certain position to have a certain vantage point. I don't know if it does anybody any good, but here I am.
We enjoyed it. We benefited from it.
Can I ask you a question before you leave?
Of course you may, Yoav.
I'll pretend not to know anything about Britain. I heard about this new party.
I asked
the Restore Britain. And my question is, what are the chances that in, let's say, 3 years' time, there is honest elections and the fate of that party is decided by democratic means, rather than say...
Phew, I thought it was going to be difficult.
Sorry?
That's easy. It's 100%. What the democratic process in the UK is not going to be corrupted on by lots of little parties. The mechanisms of how we do so. The corruption might be in the politics, so to speak, and in the messaging, but actually the day of the vote, the real votes will count, and what people vote will count democratically. I don't think that's in any doubt.
Well, yeah. Yoav is setting that as the prerequisite. I think that now his question is going to be how well will Restore do?
No. I'm not going this way, but I appreciate that. I cannot ask too many questions because it was one last question before you go.
No, you keep going until you finish. I'm
something
happy.
It's something that Sargon of Akkad said that got me worried. He said, Parliament is all powerful. When we get to Parliament, then we will be able to change back everything. And I was thinking, if Parliament is all powerful, can Parliament stop the new party before the elections?
Yes, if they wanted to, but they won't.
Okay, that's a good answer.
I think that if we'd wanted to ban a party, we would have banned Reform. We would have banned Nigel Farage at some point. We would have found some excuse. Look at the way we treated Tommy Robinson, Mr. Yaxley Leonard. That's, he did some really stupid things. Disobeying a judge right outside his court, it's not a wise thing to do. That's what you get punished for. So Farage has never been that stupid. He's always been wiser than that in his ways. So no, we won't ban a party. But if it's a very real thing, like Trump has taken over the administration in America, no one thought a president would do the things that Trump has done. And I think it's possible that when you take over Parliament, you can do almost anything you want within Parliament. Who is it? I lose track of them. One of the recent Conservatives, Cameron, changed Parliament, so changed the rules of elections in the UK to be fixed parliaments. Every 5 years, tick, 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 tick. And 10 years later, we stopped. And now we went back to the old-fashioned way of Parliament decides how long it is, up to 5 years. So yeah, the rules can change, and you can change them if you've got a majority. There is no constitution. That is the other joy of being British. We don't have a constitution that's written down. You can change it. So unlike Trump, there is no constitution. Not really. Not in a way that Parliament couldn't change it tomorrow if it wanted to. So yeah, we could fall easily foul of some populist. Let's see what happens. I think that my party, the Liberal Democrats, has existed since really the 1700s. The Tory party is slightly older, but they've just managed to completely disintegrate on themselves, and we as a party disintegrated in the 1920s and 30s.
How many seats do you have in Parliament?
650-ish.
No, your party.
Oh, 72. It's the biggest we've been for years and years and years. We were down to 2 in the 60s.
Mm.
And one of those was Jeremy Thorpe, who went around killing people's dogs.
Yeah, I am curious though. So your party is, if it's against Brexit, do you have a perspective on the argument that Brexit would be good for Britain on the basis that the EU imposes environmental regulations on the UK?
Nope. It's total rubbish. The environmental regulations of the EU were always better than and as good as we would impose upon ourselves. I mean, we haven't changed anything since Brexit, really. Why would we? They're perfectly reasonable rules.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You've hit somebody who thinks that Brexit was the biggest act of self-harm this country has done to itself since the Great Strike or something stupid like that.
Has it actually led to much tangible effect, would you say? Because I'm someone that I voted Remain at the time, and then when I saw how difficult it was to get out, I changed my mind.
We should have remained. It was so difficult to get out. Just the difficulty of getting out was damaging enough.
But the difficulty of getting out
I was in a social situation, and I met Kwasi Kwarteng, who is very tall. He's incredibly tall, and he's a lovely man. But I had to resist asking him for my 6p in the pound back. Because that's how much damage everyone acknowledges that Brexit has done to us. That we only have 94p in our pound left.
But it's so difficult to actually.
It is difficult
measure what
because
has
so many other
effect
things
on
have happened, like COVID.
Yeah. That to me, it's just then like if the same had happened and we hadn't left, like if there'd been, even if it was 4p in the pound or something, right?
Yeah. People would
and we hadn't
Rees-Mogg
then all the
Brits would still be banging on about
exactly
our 4p in the
like,
pound. Yeah,
they'd be saying, it's because we're still in the EU, right? These things are too complicated to do by economic forecasts.
That's why I refuse to ask Kwasi for my 6p in the pound back. Oh dear. Kwasi Kwarteng, sorry, for context, it was Liz Truss's Chancellor of the Exchequer, who bombed the economy in less than the time that it takes for a lettuce to disintegrate.
So, Guy, are you still sure that there's no way you're going to end up being a member of Parliament?
Absolutely. I am too old. I'm too not dedicated enough. I have a really good friend who's in Parliament, and he's dedicated his whole life to becoming an MP, and he's really good at it, and he's 20 years younger than me, and he'll do great.
Well, I was gonna say you're not greasy enough to be in Parliament, and then you said the thing about your friend. Oh, maybe I'm gonna insult your friend.
Okay,
but I know what you mean. You there's a certain level of being able to talk to people and not be. Yeah.
Well, Guy is on the town council, so he is a politician.
I am.
Whenever I've met like a local councillor or something, they've always been pretty solid people. Those are the good kind of politicians because they're not in it for their own fame. They're in it for making sure the bins get out on time.
That's basically what we try and do. And I have to say, I fell into it by accident. I'd always stood as a what they call a paper candidate, no hope of winning, and then suddenly the Tories became so unpopular that I got within 200 votes of becoming councillor, and they said, "Oh, now you must try harder." So there we go. And these
I
things
must
happen.
comment. Some of my best friends are Lib Dems.
Right.
And although we disagree about so much in politics, they're British and they will never mention it.
Well,
the Lib Dems are very well respected where I grew up. I grew up in Lib Dem heartland before it fell to the Tories. You had Nick Harvey for years.
Sorry, Jacob, we've hijacked your Iranian to British, but then the British run Iran, so it's important to know what the British are thinking.
The Parliament, yeah. I would say a good 10% of Persians believe that their vote doesn't really count. Only the votes of the people living in the UK counts.
So which party in the UK do most Iranians support then?
You know, I think they imagine the parties are like the parties in Iran, which is it doesn't matter which party people are part of. They're all they're all vetted, and it's like it's very hard.
Are they all vetted personally by the king? Is that what's going on?
It's very hard for me to help Iranians understand the party system in the United States, and it's very hard for me to help Americans understand the lack of a party system in Iran. Right? Like people in the United States are constantly talking about like the factions in the Iranian government, and it's like, no, there are no factions. There's Ayatollah Khamenei, and there are the people who support him very much, and then there are the people who are waiting for somebody else to come, and they're trying to vie to figure out who will be the next person. But that's the extent of actual politics in Iran, is who's going to be the next Ayatollah.
So it's like MAGA. You've got to say, imagine America where there is no Democrats, there's just MAGA, and all you're thinking about is Hesketh the next Trump?
Hexeth is not the next Trump.
I know he's not. I'm going to wave goodbye on that little note. Bye, folks.
Zach, what are your thoughts?
What, on whether Hexeth's the next Trump?
Then, I was actually thinking we would go back to discussing Iran, but we can continue discussing American or British politics. We certainly don't want to ask Yoav about the upcoming Israeli elections.
Well, Iran, I have no idea. That's the problem. I've been greatly enjoying your streams, by the way, on Iran and keeping up to date. I know I don't, jump on much with it, but it's useful to sort of have my ear to the ground a little bit on it. There was a friend in London who actually recommended this channel that she was getting her Iranian news from. I can't remember what it was now.
Tusi?
Yeah, Tusi, that's the one. Yeah. But I prefer watching you. So.
Yeah, and I dare say I think I provide better realistic coverage. Certainly not as entertaining coverage as Maher Tusi, but yeah. I watch it too. Yeah.
Yeah, I know you probably disagree with this, but I am actually a little bit worried about the possibility that with the economic collapse you're seeing in Iran, that Russia or China will exploit this opportunity. I know it's a bit speculative on my part, but the main thing is Russia and China at least have relatively stable currencies.
So how would they exploit the opportunity?
Well, I would think that perhaps the Iranian government would adopt either the Russian or Chinese currency.
No, they can't do that.
They can't?
No.
The whole trick is that you have your own currency to devalue.
Yeah. Yeah. But and when you adopt the currency of a different country, first of all, the very few that have pegged their currency to the dollar. Now, let's say Iran decided that they wanted to peg there's what's China's called, the yuan. I don't see how that would actually work. It would just make people start using dollars in Iran. The problem with the dollars in Iran is the government is very good at making counterfeit dollars. One of the reasons we changed our 20, 50, and $100 bills a few years ago was because Iran and I think North Korea were printing such convincing US dollars that it had become a huge problem. My guess is most people in Iran who are trading in dollars that were printed by the Islamic Republic.
Okay, so that makes sense. So the reason that Iran wouldn't want to peg their currency to the ruble or to the yuan is because it just wouldn't work out for them.
I don't see why it would help. I mean, yeah, and I don't see why pegging why the yuan or the ruble would seriously care either. Like, yeah, this doesn't seem like a good plan to me. Go ahead. Yeah.
Kirk, what is the benefit? How it will help anybody?
Well, so the main benefit that I would see is that it would make trade between Iran and Russia and China easier.
How?
Because when you have a standard currency that they're pegged to, then trade is easier because you don't have to convert the currencies as much.
I mean, any serious trade between any countries is denominated in the dollar.
Okay.
I have a better idea. They should all start using Guernsey pounds.
What are Guernsey pounds?
I'm glad you asked. They are so they're like pegged to the value of pound sterling, but they print them themselves in Guernsey. So Guernsey is like one of the Channel Islands in between Britain and France.
Aha.
And
Okay.
it means that you can get pound notes. The States of Guernsey £1 note there.
Can you?
No idea who that even is.
Does anybody in the UK actually accept Guernsey pounds as?
It is not legal tender in the UK. You cannot use it. If you tried, I think. I mean, you have enough trouble trying to pay with Scottish money in English shops. They don't accept it. They're like, "What is this? Monopoly money?"
Hold on, Scotland prints its own money?
Yeah, so Clydesdale Bank and Royal Bank of Scotland print their own money. And everyone in Scotland uses Scottish money and they'll look at you funny if you have English notes. But if you bring Scottish notes into England, they look at you funny. And it's what have I got?
But they're denominated the exact same, right?
That's a Scottish £10 note.
Okay.
Yeah, they're exactly the same. But like technically,
yeah.
I think so. The joke is that the Scottish person will shout legal tender at the shop owner if they don't accept it. But I think technically it's not actually a legal tender.
Really?
Because it's not backed by the Bank of England. Because it's backed by private banks.
Okay, I have to ask Grok, is the Scottish pound legal tender in England? I'm guessing it must be.
So everyone accepts it by convention. So in practice, yes, it is, of course.
Wow, no, Scottish pound banknotes, such as those issued by the Bank of Scotland, Royal Bank of Scotland, or Clydesdale Bank, are not legal tender in England.
Does the Royal Bank of Scotland still exist?
Apparently.
Wasn't it swallowed by some other bank?
I think Royal Bank of Scotland is owned by Lloyds or something now, but
Wait, is that the same Lloyd's, Jacob, that you were talking about the other day with insurance?
Lloyd's of London is insurance syndicate.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on. Scottish pound banknotes are not legal tender in Scotland either.
Yeah, that's the point. Is they're not legal tender at all.
Okay.
Technically.
But people do accept them in Scotland?
Yeah, I mean, not only accept them, like you can't get an English banknote in Scotland.
Uh-huh.
Or if you get your change, you get your things out. The supermarket cash machines, whatever. Everything is in Scottish money. It's the circulation. There's bits of English money in circulation, but generally they don't cross over too much.
That can't be the most effective way to have it.
No, I don't think anyone sat out and planned it. I don't know how it started. I imagine it was just that there weren't enough banknotes being printed and making their way up to Scotland for Scottish trade. And so at some point in the 19th century or something, the Scottish banks started going, oh, okay, we'll just print our own notes. And it carried on. But I've no idea what the history actually is. Never looked it up.
So according to the Bank of England, Scottish notes are legitimate promissory notes and fully backed by equivalent Bank of England notes or gold, making them valid sterling currency. So you can, while it's not legal tender, you can go to the Bank of Scotland or Royal Bank of Scotland and ask for them to change it to British.
Yeah.
Okay. Bank of England notes. Okay.
I really want to see the look on some poor bank teller's face at the Royal Bank of Scotland. Just go in there with £25 notes and say, I want these in English money, please.
Well, they would have to give it to you. Yeah. It's their job. Yeah. You should take a GoPro and go. It would make a great video.
I bet someone's done that on YouTube somewhere.
It sounds like a great YouTube video stunt.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I care enough about ruining some bank teller's day. I would never make a YouTuber.
Apparently.
Yeah. We have Zach over here. He seems to know all about English economics. We got Jacob, who used to work in insurance, and I'm studying finance. We got a very economically minded community over here.
Sorry, is this what counts as knowing all about English economics? Knowing that
this is the internet. So this is the internet. So people generally know nothing about what they're talking about. That is kind of the rule. Yeah, on the internet is thou shalt not actually know what you're talking about. Yeah.
I can probably find some very confident things to say about British economics if you like. None of it will be true.
No, I would respect your opinion.
Did you study economics?
He studied physics and philosophy. He's a philosopher and physicist.
Oh, well remembered.
One of my favorite types of people.
I did economics up to AS level in school, which doesn't even exist anymore, I think. But that was up to the age of 17, I think, was the highest level of economics education I did.
Terrence Howard physics. 2 + 2 = 3.14. There you go.
I am currently now over halfway through. No, about halfway through my master's in theology. That's.
Do your parents ever say, "Hey, how about you get a degree in something you could use"?
My parents usually just, every 6 months when I'm doing something totally different to the last thing, just go, oh, that's what you're doing now. Okay, fair enough.
Fair enough. Okay.
My friends always say I'm entertaining to meet up with. The sort of people you only see once a year always say I'm very entertaining to meet because I'll be doing something totally different to the last time they saw me. So
yeah.
I've had about 7 jobs in 7 years before this.
I found
I'm sticking on this road for a while. So okay.
I am finding more and more videos of funerals in Iran. There's apparently a lot of them. Yeah.
What just worries me about what you're saying about Iran is just the idea that if there is no hope of actually turning any of the army, then we are just talking about massacre after massacre after massacre for God knows how long.
Okay, so let's keep things separate. The army, which is the smallest military group here, is, I think there's actually very good hope of turning the army.
Really? Okay. But then you still got the IRGC.
Yeah, the IRGC and the Basijis.
Yeah.
And if you turn the army, then you're really looking at civil war.
Yeah.
And
would it end faster if the army was turned, do you think?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. I have to say that the higher up you are in the army, in the Artesh, the more likely you are to be some sort of bootlicker who was selected for your lack of gumption and incapacity to think for yourself. I think Artesh could possibly be turned, but what does that mean? They are the least well armed. They are the ones who aren't volunteer. They're conscripts. They're people who don't want to be there. They are the question is, at what point do Basijis and Sepah Pastar on the IRGC decide we're not going to just murder people, that this is not working? And I am not sure. The U.S. will win Iran like the U.S. won in Iraq. The United States is not going to attack. I mean, it is going to attack Iran. It's not going to invade Iran. That would be dumb, and I can't imagine anybody doing that.
The only kind of thing I saw was from domestic politics of apparently Starmer ruled out America using RAF bases for refueling in the area, which was an interesting kind of signal if he was just saying like, no, we don't want to get involved at all.
I think that has more to do with hating Trump and saying, if you're not going to be backing NATO, I think that's more about NATO than it is about Iran.
It's a kind of interesting move for Starmer though, because he's been very sucky up to Trump in general. His diplomatic strategy has generally been to lick his ass and see if he can get anything.
I mean, that's generally the best strategy with Trump.
Yeah.
Trump is good with Trump is an old-fashioned brawler. He's like, if you're good to me, I will be good to you. And if you're mean to me, I will be mean back.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so generally that's a good way of going forward.
And it bore some fruit when the tariffs came out. The UK got off really, really lightly.
Well,
almost no discernible reason, and it just seemed to be because Trump was nice, because Starmer was nice to Trump.
I'm not sure if you heard the news, but the U.S. Supreme Court decided today 6-3 that Trump can't impose tariffs.
I did not see that yet. No.
Yeah, that ruling was issued today. Yeah.
Okay. And the headline that I'm seeing is Trump announces new 10% global tariff.
Because of course he is.
So who actually, like, what would that mean for then someone who has to enforce the tariff?
The minute he announces it, which he may have announced it, so somebody's going to go into court, get an injunction, and the court is going to say no, you can't, and it's over.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Have we discussed everything we are going to discuss?
I mean, there's some things I'd like to talk with Zach if you want to let Yoav keep going.
Well, I was thinking I might head off, to be honest. But
I am going to play some of these videos because I want to see them. The picture he's holding is of the person whose funeral it is.
A comment?
Yeah.
Why cannot this possibly be AI generated? Because you don't have any footage to train the AI on for such a video.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't see how how they are going to survive this. We saw that video before.
درختی سوخت دودش شعری گریان برای باغ نوشت باغ که سوخت
A tree burnt and its ashes turned to fertilizer for the garden.
دودش داستانی بس غمگین برای کوه نوشت کوه که سوخت دودش قصیده‌ای اشک‌آلود برای روستا نوشت روستا که سوخت دودش نمایشنامه‌ای تراژیک برای شهر نوشت در شهر اما زنی بود که زیبایی درخت و کوه و روستا و شهر را یک جا در دل و قامتش داشت آنگاه که به خاطر آزادی خودسوزی کرد دودش داستانی بی پایان برای سراسر سرزمین نوشت
I'm not sure I can translate much more than I already did. This is Javid Shah. Long live the king. I'm gonna ask Grok if this was oh, it's apparently from no. Real video with original sound from February 20th. That's shocking. That's shocking to me. They're chanting "Long live the king."
Yeah. So one of the things I think is with regards to AI is have you ever heard of Brandolini's law?
Bullshit spreads faster than it's debunking.
Yeah, and that's exactly one of the things that I think AI is going to be problematic for, is that it's actually going to increase Brandolini's law in a sense that debunking what fake AI takes a lot of time. Like, it's a lot easier to spread bullshit with AI. So Brandolini's law has exponentially increased with AI, in my opinion.
Maybe. I mean, human beings are pretty good at disbelieving it. That's the common age. If this is new, this is shocking. Let me just check. Yeah, apparently this is real. I mean, we're seeing a lot of videos. Yeah, they're long live the king, Javi Cho. I don't see how the regime is gonna. His mom died. With one bullet, my whole life was turned over.
اینم شد آخرین که هیچ پلیس هم زده مادرم کشت. این بود جواب من. بخاطر 10 سال شده که من به دنیا آمدم. کلا فقط مگه من چقدر سن دارم؟ 10 سال فقط 10 سال میتونستم با مامانم باشم بقیه‌اش زندان زندگی بکنم. زندگی روم دیدم، گفتنی دیدم، پولیس دیدم، همه غمات دیدم. آخرش بعد 40 روز که باورم اونجا بودم که الان 40 روز اکستر هست بعد یکی رو با ببینم. از بوده یه چیزی میخوام چرا این بلا رو سر من آورد؟
ببین مادر
ببین مادر زمستونه، ببین احوالمو که مثل موی تو پریشونه، واسم رخت عذاب تنگ کن.
Yeah, it's hard to comprehend the impact of this times thousands. Okay, that seems like a good place to maybe conclude. Yoav, did you have something to say?
Just to answer the Sunrise, the government will not be the last to know the difference between real video and AI, because the government is not one person and nobody in the government trusts anybody else. So when you and I will not know the difference, nobody in the government will.
Yep. Any last words, Kirk?
Please remember to keep the Iranians in your prayers.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we'll finish with this song.
سر سنگ عقابی به هوا خواست، آن در طلب تو مهپر و بال بیاراست، بر راستی بال نظر کرد و چون این گفت امروز همه روی جهان زیر پر ماست، بر بال عقاب آمدان تیر جگردوز، عذاب مرو را به سوی خاک فرو کاست، چون نیک نگاه کرد و پر خویش برو دید، گفت تازه که نالیم که از ماست که بر ماست، از ماست که بر ماست، از ما